using systems like this that you absolutely must have in place before you decide to just throw money into your ad spend, because it's going to ensure your business is profitable. What is it that makes scaling through paid ads so incredibly difficult? Well, the answer is most people focus on the wrong thing. In this video, I'm going to show you the first step in the process to making sure that you can scale your paid ads profitably. My insights around marketing and paid ad strategy come from me being in the business since 2013. And I had the fortunate opportunity of working for a company that was acquired by private equity, and I got to sit in the same room as all the operators as we discussed how to make our paid ad strategy work more efficiently. So when it comes time to scale your ads, you're probably seeing inconsistent revenue month to month, and you want to scale so you can mitigate some of those dips and see a flatter revenue line. Or you just took on a bunch of new inventory and you're ready to scale to your next 20, 30K, 40K month. And here's what that typically looks like. So as you increase your ad spend, sure, your revenue does start to increase, but your ad performance will dip, and then you'll switch out creative and then it'll dip. So it'll look something like this. It's not consistent. And generally, without the proper structure, you're still gonna see these dips because we're relying on the paid ads to do all the work. What's equally important is you've increased your ad spend, but that doesn't guarantee you're doing it profitably. If you're not working on anything else besides your paid ads, your profitability is eventually going to go like this because you're spending more and more on your ads as they get fatigued, and then you're just dumping all your money into paid ads. So what is the key behind making sure that as we scale our paid ad spend, we're doing it profitably to ensure that all of our revenue isn't just going straight back to reimbursing those paid ads? Well, the number one thing is you must have an operation behind your paid ads, and this video is going to cover the first part in that process because I want you to be able to digest this, so we're just going to cover part one today. Now, funny enough, paid ads are actually the easy part when it comes to scaling because dozens of people teach you how to do it. There's really only a few ways to set up your campaigns, and they're more or less the same. You have your CBOs, ABO, different timing on swapping out creative. It's more or less the same. That being said, there's a few things we can do while we are running paid ads. Number one is always be testing. You want to make sure that part of your budget is going towards discovery. There will be creative ad fatigue, and you will need to swap out ads. So when your good ads get fatigued, you can swap them out. Equally as important is slowly scaling your proven winners. Next is using socials and UGC creators to test your content. This is how we're going to find our winners before we dump them into our ad campaigns. This one right here is going to help you become more profitable because you found your winners and you're not spending money to figure out what's going to convert people. Now that we've covered, the sauce is really not in running the paid ads. That is the easy part. What do you need to focus on to ensure that your paid ad campaigns are profitable and not just generating revenue? The first step is more new customers. Now, yes, running ads is going to generate more traffic, but more traffic does not guarantee more customers. If we're not focused on anything in the back end of your Shopify store, you're just paying for new traffic and you're not optimizing to increase the amount of customers or your conversions, then you're wasting money on your ads. How do we do that? One of the first steps is obviously making better ads, better click-through rate, your ads are more effective, and understanding how to get the best acquisition cost for your customers. And like we said, we want to be testing and making sure we're getting the best creatives. That's going to help our click-through rate, and it's also going to help our cost to acquire a customer. But a lot of this other stuff that I'm about to show you in this example is how you optimize for your acquisition cost. So let's say your ad campaign generates 10,000 impressions at a 2% click-through rate. You get 200 visits to your site and you're converting at a 2% rate. That's 4 sales. Let's say all sales are the same in this scenario. Now, that means 196 people never purchased anything. What we need to do is re-engage them. We've already paid for that traffic, so why would we just let it slip away? Now, the first thing we can do is retargeting. We want to make sure that pixel's firing because we're capturing that data, and we want to have a good retargeting campaign to bring people back to your website. This is a warm lead. They've already been to your website, so it's going to be cheaper to convert this person than it is someone cold who's never been to your site or seen your product. Next is testing your IAOs or your opt-in offers. Because we want to capture every single person that's landed on your website, you need to be testing your IAOs and opt-in offers. This could be email opt-in, SMS, 10% off your first order, members who sign up get 10% off or early access because your drops sell out. You need to be testing all of this because we want to capture as much of this 196 as possible. Again, that's enrolling them in email campaigns because everybody who signs up doesn't necessarily automatically convert to a sale. So we need to make sure whatever's in our email campaign or our SMS follow-up is actually converting those people. We also have things like browse abandonment impatient. And this is how you capture people who just weren't ready to make a sale, is you need to follow up with them and remind them that your business or product is still there. And last, abandoned cart follow-up. I know a lot of people know this, but we need to combine all these things that we're re-engaging any of the people who haven't converted. Now, let's say all things being equal, before we've scaled our ad spend, if we just put all of these in place and we're testing these consistently, how does this impact your business? So let's say we engaged 6 sales out of that initial 196 that never converted. That brings us to a total of 10 sales. That's a considerable lift, which that brings us to 150% revenue lift. And all we did was optimize everything on the back end, so our paid ads didn't have to do as much work. So let's put this all together. Generating traffic through paid ads is the easy part, and we want you to optimize all the systems behind your traffic so we're scaling profitably and not just focused on more revenue. Because you're spending more, revenue should go up, but we want to make sure that that revenue goes up profitably. In the next videos, I'll break down those second and third parts, but if you have any questions specifically on ads, this is really more for people who are already doing like 10K in meta spend. But if you have questions on ads, drop them in the comments below and maybe I'll make a video for you specifically. I also forgot to mention that if your business needs somebody to consult on what you should be doing with your paid ad strategy, I do consulting through Strike ecommerce. Put a link in the description down below, but if you want to go through your strategy specifically, send me an email.